Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan here with your Piney podcast. Before we get into the numbers, 21 states and territories, I know, are not under New Jersey's travel quarantine order. That's how many places we can't go in New Jersey without quarantining ourselves or outside of New Jersey to come back. At this point, there are, I know, Joe, it's an outrage. The majority of these states are unsafe, quote unquote, for the beer virus. And I think it's all BS. And in November, poof, it all disappears. New numbers 430 cases, 7 more deaths, transmission rate rising. Oh, I know, Joan, it's an outrage. Hey, you want to come over here? You want to come over here? You're barking. Here. All right, fine. Couldn't last 2 minutes in your seat. I gave you a treat and everything. Okay, well, just sit here. This is what you wanted. You want to be nice and warm. Yeah. So the transmission rate, I don't know, went up like a point something. Who cares? It's all BS at this point. I have no, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, Joan? I have no faith in this. None. Zero. Two test positive for beer virus after VFW's barbecue fundraiser, prompting closure. Wah wah. 2 posts for the U.S. military veterans in Newton have closed after at least 2 people tested positive for the beer virus. You know, again, if people are there and they were already, you know, social distancing and wearing masks and just washing their hands, they'll probably be fine. Okay? You know, you can warn people, tell them to get tested, but Jesus, it's like every day you look for another excuse to shut down things. And I'm telling you, this all disappears in November. It's gone. It's gone, Pineys. Mark my words. And here's another guy from New Jersey who I can't stand. Not governor, thank God, Senator Menendez. At least a governor we can get rid of after a while. Menendez will never be rid of. You know, by some outside agencies that look at Congress, he has been known to be the most corrupt guy in the Senate. They tried to indict him. He slipped past. He's right back in the Senate doing his thing. And here's his big idea. New Jersey beer virus recovery. Menendez proposes 9/11 style commission on beer virus response. Oh, yeah, because the 9/11 commission worked out so well. Everybody believed it. And I just remember so many people being punished, like no one. No one has been punished. No one has ever lost their job over September 11th. So Menendez wants to showboat at the taxpayer's expense while he trashes Donald Trump. So no thank you. No thank you, Senator. Please just retire. Just retire. Oh, here's the rate of transmission in this article. WHYY. A totally nonpartisan channel that, you know, we prop up with our taxes because it's PBS. Rate of transmission, 1.15. Yeah. So, meanwhile, deaths are down, and it's so low. It just exhausts me talking about this. But here's a happier story. Family virtual trivia night to benefit South Jersey Arts. Online family trivia night will be held 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thursday, September 24th to benefit Glasstown Arts District and Riverfront's Renaissance Center for the arts in Millville. Tickets are $10 per family. It can be ordered online through the Espero app, available through free download from Apple Store or Google Play. The event will be hosted by Nor'easter Nick. Trivia question categories will include general knowledge, weather, art, and other topics. Instructions for play will be provided. So, Pineys, support the arts. Atlanta Care to expand suicide prevention services, partners with Avanzar, grant funds will address suicide risk amongst the general population with a focus on enhancing services for victims of domestic violence and their dependents. I think really, and the reason I mention this, not because I am not suicidal, just so you know, I'm perfectly happy. How could I not be happy with this little fudgeball? But I mention this because I think there's going to be a lot of economic problems coming up in the future, and I think, not that I'm saying domestic violence isn't an issue, but I think there's going to be more people who are going to be really on the skids economically, and they're going to be at their wits' end, and so I think something like this hopefully can help. And here's something that probably won't help. This is an opinion letter in NewJersey.com about the millionaire tax that Murphy has already pushed through. The millionaire's tax proposed by Governor Murphy in a partial year budget is nothing more than a game to get Murphy reelected next year. This budget proposal also calls for income-qualified families with young children to get up to $500 stimulus check for 2021. There's no reason anyone should get a check for nothing, while senior citizens get nothing, with payments from property tax rebates being delayed. The cost of living in New Jersey is one of the highest in the country. Gasoline will go up 9.3 cents per gallon on October 1st to help replenish the Transportation Trust Fund, but our governor's only interest is to get reelected. I agree. Murphy also proposed giving a one-time $1,000 state savings bond to the family of almost every child born in New Jersey next year. This is another giveaway program that eventually will become permanent, all paid for by seniors and working people. The $40 million baby bonds proposal was eliminated from the legislature version of the pending budget. Let's stop this insanity. The Democratic legislatures go along with Murphy because they see the ability to waste, quote, pork in the near future. This will only lead to more citizens leaving the state along with their bank accounts. Lou Perez in Glassboro. Good letter, Lou. I agree. This is a lot of wasted money. Murphy should not be giving away money, especially when he had to borrow money just to make the budget this year. And as someone pointed out to me today, a coworker, the $5 billion he borrowed will actually end up costing the state $22 million when it's paid back. So next year, when the budget falls short, not only could Murphy have to borrow again, but the budget will have to be adjusted for the payment on the $5 billion loan for the money for this year. You see how that works? So giving away money and driving us further in debt is not the answer, Phil Murphy. Give away your money if you want to give money. I bet you won't. I bet you won't give away a single solitary penny unless you get it back in a tax rebate for charity or something. So, while I think there are a lot of people who suffer and are poor and whatever, just handing them a check is not the answer. What we need in this state and what we need in the whole country is more opportunity. And the way you do that is you create zones, or really the whole state, an opportunity zone by making it easy to start a business, not requiring lots of permits and stupid regulations that don't really protect anybody. It just lines the pockets of the state and the state workers, because they come down and they do inspections and they make sure you have certain permits for things, and your building's a certain size, and you have a certain amount of employees. The minimum wage hurts small businesses. If you got a little coffee shop and you just want to hire like one waitress, and you got to pay them minimum wage, and maybe they're not worth minimum wage. Maybe you don't need a full-time waitress at a little coffee shop just starting out. Maybe you have to slowly ramp up over a period of a couple of years before you're really making any kind of money. Maybe you got to do most of the work. When you hire a kid and they force you to pay them more than they're worth, you're really just, you're losing money on the proposition. It used to be, when the minimum wage didn't exist, you could just pay the kid what you want. So if a kid just swept up at your place, you'd throw him a few bucks, whatever. I worked for my parents when I was a kid, and there was a minimum wage, but, that's different. For family, they can pay you whatever they want. So, my parents would give me some money, whatever. But, I didn't have like a paycheck. It wouldn't have been worth it. My labor wasn't worth anything. It was worth a little something, but it wasn't worth a full time minimum wage, 40-hour work week. They would have lost money. They would have been working just to pay me. So you this is the way economics works. So if you lower the bar, so opening a business costs you almost nothing other than, you got to buy certain things. That helps people because then they can start a business. It doesn't take much to go to the dollar store, buy a few cases of water on a hot day, and sell those bottles of water to, people who are in an area that have to walk around outside. Oh, a bottle of water. Oh. And you take the water bottles you bought for 50 cents, you sell them for $2, and you're making quick money. And there are people who will do that and hustle. But if you have laws and regulations that say, well, you need a permit to do that. Oh, you can't sell that on this property or that property. And you have to be in a certain area. Then people don't do it. And people should be allowed to do that. They should be allowed to hustle and make the money where they can. Now, obviously, I don't want total lawlessness, but in New Jersey, we're very highly regulated. So if Murphy wanted to do anything, he could slash, and I mean slash, the taxes and the regulations here. But he won't, because he's a Democrat. And that's not what Democrats do. Their strategy is to go the other way. Their strategy is to tax you more and then hand out the money to bribe voters. And this is part of that bribe. So, who are you going to vote for? You're going to vote for Murphy, who gave you a $500 stimulus check last year? Or are you going to vote for that nasty Republican who wants to cut back on all the programs? Meanwhile, the state's going broke, borrowing money from the federal government, but you don't care about that, right? You're getting your check, and that bribe pays for your vote. So, F Murphy, I say. The sooner he's gone, the better. Nice letter, Lou, and nice ruining the video again, Joan. I'm Tony D. This is Little Joan. This is a Piney podcast, and we will see you next time. Check out my links in the description. Smash like and subscribe.